Hello, my lovelies. So, happy Saturday. I am popping on after so much integration yesterday after I did that live, where I was still very much processing and integrating all of the energies from the week before. Ancestral stuff from Ireland, and the whole thing with the Astro Festival. All of it's obviously linked, all of it's intertwined, nothing is separate, everything has a thread of energy running through it that's linking it. And after the live yesterday, I had a massive throat clearing, so I didn't really do a lot of clearing on the live, so I'm coming on now to kind of follow up with what happened afterwards. And I pulled two cards that were, one was a person message, and I showed it. I only showed this one, and I had never read the other card that came up. I didn't look at it and I didn't pull it until this morning, actually, when you went to read it. And there's a message in that that needs to be shared as well, because it's all part of what we're integrating and processing and moving through. And I'm only sharing my story, and we all have our own, right? But sometimes when we talk things out loud, we see the reflections in the mirrors, and sometimes when someone else is saying something out loud or moving through something, it sparks off something in you, or you spark off something in me. And I wanted to pull another card as well and bring through a light language transmission. There was a lot of interference yesterday that I feel I've totally cleared, by the way, because it didn't want me to talk about this. So there's been just so much of that clearing and boundaries and owning the voice. Oh my God, so much clearing in my throat chakra. So how are you all doing today? Some of you mightn't have seen what I talked about yesterday. I don't usually talk out about these things. I usually work with it in the background quite a lot on my own, right? I do a lot of this stuff on my own. And recently, since I've been part of the co-creation of Star Tribes of Light with my new sisters in there from our Light Language 2 group. And we've been gathering quite regularly and doing a lot of beautiful and sacred work together. And that has been like a huge sacred circle of protection and reflection as well. So I want to thank all you sisters, and happy birthday, Laurel. It was your birthday yesterday. And it's from Laurel I got the term champion of light, and flipping warrior, light warrior, to champion, because the light is one. That's the Palladium message that came through in March. But there's the embodiment aspect of that for us. So what I'm going to go a little bit about right now is pull a little card. And this is, my whole intention for this is empowerment, because that's what I've been very much moving into. The empowerment of our physical bodies and pure healing, miracle energy. The empowerment of our processing and integration of emotions, which is complete reset of nervous system included. Trauma integration, the empowerment of the mind and our cognizance that is with the heart as one, the empowerment of the intuition and discernment, because with further clarity and broader perspective and deeper integration, we have a much greater and stronger channel of discernment, right? So all of that, and then the whole empowerment of all spiritual aspects as well. So part of what came up for me yesterday as well was I actually tapped into, because I do I Love You Me, I tapped into after the call, and this was quite rapidly processing, throat clearing chakra, and then an aspect of myself I had a little bit locked away, which was to do with my power. And this is where I hold a lot of memories around the Dark Agenda, because I've said this before in other lives, there's always a reclamation for some of us. We have karmic connotations, karmic cognizance, and recognizing when we see dark, we know it because we were that. We've played in it before, right? Not in this lifetime, but perhaps other karmic stuff. So I have an awful lot of memories where, you know, I've been of the light, but I've also played in the other side. And I know that those memories I'm accessing right now, and they're not just mine, I access other people's as well. That's what I know and I learn. And once you know and you learn and you get all these tools, you know how to essentially disengage it in the now, transmute it in the now, without having to fall into it's mire, it's chaos, right? Not everybody might have this in your contract. You might not need to even hear this conversation. Some of us do, and some of us, it's about us reclaiming that power as well, and those aspects of ourselves, integrating, forgiving, loving, all of the whole thing around compassion and complete empowerment. This really may not resonate with some of you, but it may with others. So take this as you will. If it doesn't resonate, let it wash off your shoulders like beautiful raindrops into the earth, and bless the earth as they go. So empowerment, and healing at the deepest core level. I'm going to take a little breath in, because I was tapping into the musicians, and we know the music industry and the infiltration and the hijacking. I talked about how the lands have been hijacked, the medical systems, the political systems, our school systems, the hijacking, and people walking into that system not understanding the amount of hijacking that's happened, not cognizant, not aware, not awake perhaps to it, not really understanding what they're signing up for. And I felt a lot of disillusionment yesterday when I was releasing that as well. At the deep soul level. And almost like I didn't know what I was playing with. I thought I understood this power and I didn't. And I'm just going to pull the Divine Feminine deck, and Pushanya. Our intention is for empowerment, it's for deep healing for self and for everybody involved in the situations with the astro. I'm getting an itchy nose. Anyway, there's bullshit energy that we're going to be fed via the media. May that be released, revoked, rescinded, and deleted. Two cards flipped over before I even got to shuffle the deck, so I'm going to honor that. In this space, in this time together, I'm calling in all of my sisters from our circle. For any dark portals that have been opened, they are now transmuted to light. And as I'm saying that, the card that got pulled, Surya Akfana, of course we have the Divine Feminine Cosmic Egg. Birthing center of the Divine Feminine, the universe. I'm getting lots of dragon energy coming in with this. Okay, there's a lot of imagery coming through. One, it feels like every mother on earth, every woman who's given birth to a child, a baby, and I haven't yet, but as a woman, we identify with the role of mother. We all come from our mothers and from the Divine Mother. And what I'm seeing is the wailing women, the grief of generations, and this is an opportunity for the clearing and growth of that. Together as women, we stand as one. When one child is lost, we feel it all. Hold the hands of your mothers, your sisters, your daughters. Now what I'm getting is the mothers of all these young people, these kids that have been lost, they lost their children as well. Together we sound in one unison. It's almost like the sharing of grief lessens it. Not lessens it, that's not the right word. What can feel unbearable is a bit more so, if that makes sense. I can't find the right word. So I'm just going to invite all of us, and this is for men, you come of mother too. We stand hand in hand and we shine our heart love out Now this is one of many. This one is just the one that is being opened quite brazenly, been opened for us to see. I hold the universe within me. I am the force of ever-expanding love. That's actually the image I was being shown. Us together opening our hearts and sending that love blast out. Shuya kwana dia transmute clears. What can appear unbearable is more so now together. Now, dragon like wanting to come through and clearing the land and the airs. All the elements. We invite that through as well. Second card. Now, last night I dreamed of a lot of feline beings. Now this is a tiger, but there was leopards and there was like Bengal cats in my dream, and there was a baby cat in my dream, a kitten, and it was really strange actually, because it's coming back to me as I'm seeing this card. Like lions and tigers, all the feline. Now I know, Laurel, if you're watching this on a replay, yesterday you sent me a transmission by the Lyrans, and I'm realizing that was part of the dream. And of course you have the whole overlap here of the Orion Wars, the effect of that. We're clearing that timeline. Timelines are being looped around, so we don't make the same choices or decisions. I don't want to use the word mistake. Mistake is everywhere there's an opportunity to learn and grow. This is Mao Shan, the Princess of Mercy. Giving is receiving. The energy of the universe is merciful. She's holding a peach. Now the story of her from memory, she was a princess born of a king, and he was quite domineering, and he wanted her to marry for power, right, to get more land, to get more power, and she refused, and she was very devout to Source, Creator, great mother. And she asked, could she go and live her life according to how Source wanted her to, her God Source, whatever that was to her. He got irate, angry that she refused to do as he commanded. She was in her own power, essentially, and she said no. And he banished her to an island, and there was a abbot or a form of their type of nunnery, if that's kind of a word to say that. And it was a desolate land. Nothing was there, barren, and you could see that it was a prison, right? She was there, and her love was so expanding and so giving that the land grew into a paradise. Beautiful trees and animals flourished. She created a paradise on that land, and she lived very happily there. He heard of this and got very, very angry and commanded his soldiers to kill her, for once again disobeying him. And off they went with their swords, and not one sword would land on her. She was so pure and in her beauty and in her love. Nothing could penetrate that. So they left the island, came back and told the king. She was left to her own devices for a while. The king got very, very ill, and he was told by his physicians, only thing that will save you, I think now, I may have got this wrong in the legend, is the eyes and the arms and the legs and the eyes of someone. They would have to give their eyes, like their eyes and their limbs, to save you. Shua Akana, she heard of this through the grapevine, and she cut off her own limbs and she sent them to her father, just in deep mercy and forgiveness. And so he lived, and he did not know who gave this sacrifice, this act of sacrifice for him, so he could live. And when he found out it was his daughter, he was grief-stricken and humbled, and his heart opened. And he went to see the land she had created and the beauty that she created around her and all the love that she had spread everywhere. And he became remorseful, regretful, and came into his heart, essentially had a massive healing by all that she had given. He realized the divine nature that she was, that he created, that was also part of him. Zukana aka, her mercy opened him and healed him. Tkuana aikiata ma'awasakaiti. What is that in relation to what we're experiencing right now? I actually did a little bit of that work with Travis Scott, Kia Kwana Akiakana, and all those behind him, because it's not all him. Duana Asokwai Tiana, he is being controlled. Ukutushakai na awasati. Uasanamahawa Kiana Luri Atara Ata Isikinia Tanama Awasata. Notice the butterflies of transformation all around her as well. Stunning. What a message. Now the Lyrans coming through, telling me that they too also had this, as you know, there was a Draco war, their planet got destroyed. They too had to move into that mercy, forgiveness and compassion so that they too could evolve and grow on their journey. And they did that with their oppressors, their destroyers of their earth, their planet. So I'm going to invite in a transmission from the Lyrans in love and truth, and any information or wisdom that wants to come through. So we're getting the Lyran High Council. And it is the Great Father energy stepping forward first, funny enough. Kiashmar is his name. I am Kiashmar of the Lyran High Council. I will speak to you in a transmission now that will move into your hearts, into your bodies and minds should you wish to receive this. I will speak through the voice of Mary should she allow. Do you give permission? Yes, I give permission. Rombala Hawaria Mashwakiro Kurikiliatra Mundiach Flachrukia Noroso Corola Vire Crera Floro Mbaraara Iliara Marusoro Corola Mishakatamna Rokoti Makadash Kariala Morovra Hirak Saye Marapsakati Monkolhel Moshavalhalla Kodiaka Norosotorokolasa Mirach Fokwaye Miaswura Vali Bushungono Revle Maswakuro Havala Re Asvuro Asvraya Mo Koro Kara Ilakrasa Moro Kwaye Makwaye si aqua Mondo Soro Korala Virakswa Mondolo Haraksavala Miashukunda Nakeakala Orombara Halayati Mishua Hovala Hreke Mondarahal Vianachraha Muntukshiara Ki Indovra Aktamana Shutuye Moshanye Hal Kuashati Chuku Ashati Moashati Chuku Asharaka Moashakati Maho Alkiatsa Borkana Hiana Hateyana Horoksoye Mosha Mosha Moshahia Moshamia Miheshiata Noaniana Mirara Korosotokia Mahandia Moashiara Doria Raksaniati Oshoyena Tia 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 Moaka Oshoye Imiama Miarachala. So Thank you to the father of the Lyran Divine Council. You're most welcome. Thank you. A lot of the message there was very overlaid, so a lot of information. I don't know even where to begin. I'm not going to go into all of it. Let your hearts decipher, because I'm only going to even scratch the surface. No pun intended. The Lyran Council. What a beautiful mane. Oh my god. And to feel how the body, the energy sat in my body. And you can invite that through for you to get that same feeling. I had massive heat come, especially my lower chakras, around my root and sacral, and running up and down my back, especially around here. Like I had a lot of clearing here. And it's kind of how I can, for me personally, it was clearing how I bring in information, because I have a lot of that tendril energy. You know, like your hair is almost like antenna. I could feel how it can get stuck, because I get overwhelmed. So it was a lot of clearing around that. So if that was for me, it perhaps was for you. Big opening of the heart, big opening of the throat, big opening of the sacral and the root, and huge. These legs were so powerful. I mean, obviously it's not legs, but that's the energy in my legs. He stood in my body, if that makes sense. And that stepping forward with that power and assuredness, even in the face of adversity, even what we might see as quote unquote a form of hell, where there's suffering. And he's saying, we're always here to support you. You will feel us and receive us when you need us. We are your brothers and sisters. We help seed this planet. We understand and we know. We've been there, we've done that, is kind of what he's saying. And we're here to help and guide in whichever way we can. And spread our love. You have this within you. And that mercy, that compassion, that forgiveness, that love, that accepting all parts of own self, and others. It's all part of our process here. From our deep love, great transformation can be held for others. So that's what that card was. And I'm going to show you, this is the one I didn't read yesterday that was also pulled. I showed you this one, which was all about grace and the lotus coming up from the mire and the muck, trusting, right? This is Lalita Tripura Sundari. And this is from the Kali deck. Of course, Kali is the goddess, divine mother, that literally takes the heads of demons. She's fierce in the shadow work. As much as in shadow as in light. Now this is again luminous grace. We got 2 grace cards yesterday. And this is around how she plays her ways into our hearts, softening hardness and despair, awakening the remembrance of light, of love, of joy, no matter what you have experienced. Now, I only read this after I did it live yesterday, because I definitely needed to read that. No matter what you've experienced, your heart shall be cleansed and released from ugliness, sorrow, and pain. Negative karmic legacies will be cleared away. That's what we're going to call in next. Our divine sister goddesses invites you to recognize her golden restorative beauty shining within your heart. Cultivate that which is worthy of such beauty, for this is your essential nature. Gracefully release all else with dignity. She's the 3rd of the Maya Vidya wisdom goddesses. That's part of the Divine Mother, manifesting as light and playfulness and beauty. Now, I did mention that we had the Elvins come in quickly with, remember our transmission on beauty. All is not dark, even in the dark, see the beauty. Kwahanda akianana, and all the possibility that can give. Sukinji akatana mbura ahala ati. So her presence here is a reminder to play, which is accessing our divine child. Her practice asks us to cleanse and heal our minds so we do not become consumed. Now that's via the imprinting, okay? And I talked about the propaganda and imprinting yesterday. Or overwhelmed by the suffering or ugliness happening in our world. We talked about that yesterday, right? So this card was pulled. Without denying the dark side, which we also talked about yesterday, of human nature, we can look through the inner eye to see what is happening at a spiritual level. What's the broader and higher perspective here? And we need to move into neutrality to be able to access that, right? Not in the sway and the pull of the emotion. If we look for the inner spiritual truth, we find the divine beauty. That is the courage, kindness, selflessness, generosity, love and strength that humans develop and express in response to their problems. She is the power to recondition the mind away from agony and into delight. So it almost feels like she's here to heal traumas, which is what we've been experiencing since the whole C virus. Like literally it's been a trauma after trauma after trauma until we shut down. We numb out. This doesn't require changing the world, but rather seeing it differently. We're the ones changing. Instead of seeing humanity as victimized, and I talked about Ireland and a lot of that save me, savior complex, weakness, instead of seeing humanity as victim, weak, ego-driven and wounded, we can affirm humanity as a collective of spiritually brave souls willing to incarnate and grow during a challenging time of spiritual obscuration on earth. Here, that's part of what the Lyran came through with. There is a divine beauty in the boldness of spirit. Internally, we shift from despair to awe, changing our chemistry along with our consciousness. And that's what happens with imprinting, and everything that whole agenda is about imprinting us, right? Imprinting us in fear, the masks, the distance, division, separation. That's all imprints of fear. And then when we see that on social media, that's imprints of torture, tragedy, death, mind control, MK Ultra kind of crack, opening of vortexes and portals to bring in energies, not really only wanting to feed off our energy, because they don't have anything to feed off. They're so far from source, bless them. Via Nana Nawasaka, they think the only choice they have is via us. When we look at everything through these eyes, we can instantly transmute it, change it, transform it, just as she did to her father. Challenges are recognized as a means through which blessings can be activated. The mindset of the warrior, the champion, fighting against darkness. Now, we talked about the warrior, didn't we, yesterday? And shifting that word to champion, right? The warrior fighting against darkness can shift into the mindset of the priestess, facilitating the increasing presence of spiritual light on earth. For me, that word was something Laurel gave me, was we're champions of the light. For the light is one, they're here now embodying that. What does that look like in action? What does that look like in thought form? What does that look like emotionally? And in the line movement forward, what does that actually feel, look, sense? Each step of the way on our journey. Sometimes we need darkness, it says, the feistiness of Kali and the warrior spirit, yet other times the lightness of heart, the delighted mind and the buoyant spirit are what opens the way for us. For life to happen, we need both night and day, winter and summer, and everything in between. This is how we're healing the cycles of time as the timelines are converging as well. It cannot be but any other way. This, we looks like we're repeating, but the end result is not going to be the same. It cannot be but any other way. We're just in that crunch, that time between the end and the beginning. It's that crunch time, like constriction. The ending of a truly difficult time is near, this card is telling us. as a spiritual shift from dark night of the soul into something of a golden era in your life. It's a promise to release into beauty and grace. Do your work. All right, do your work. We still have to do the work. Do your work to orientate yourself, to shift your inner being and be ready. What would it like to dispense with worry and dwell within a continual infusion of golden grace? This is the way of this goddess. Be open to experiences of rest, pleasure and beauty, which elevate you and help you discover new solutions to old issues. That's the higher perspective we talk about. Kut'ana ayeki, the broader perspective, most aligned with your own true soul essence. Lalita helps the mind break free from poverty conscious also and belief in lack. I can't, I'm not good enough, I'm not powerful enough, I'm only one person. All of that is that lack consciousness. Remember the message on community yesterday that came through as well. Alright, so that's as much as I'll read around that. So that message was part of yesterday's as well. So we have the message of grace yesterday. We have the message of grace again, another aspect of it, play and beauty. We have the message of mercy. Giving is receiving, the energy of the universe is merciful. We have the energy of holding the universe within me and the force of ever expanding love. So we're clearing now all and any energies, karmic or ancestral, all and any energies of imprints. May they be gone, Uttana, and all force be released that is not of source and light. We're here to integrate all aspects of ourselves, and I mentioned at the start, after the live yesterday, I had a massive throat clearing. My whole voice went. I couldn't speak for like half hour. My husband was like, what is going on? And I was like, it's the clearing. It's having a huge throat clearing. Then I accessed an inner child of me I'd locked away, and this was aspects and memories of me that had played in that same magic that we saw, that dark magic. And that was not seen, not heard, rejected, disempowered, that had to be brought back, integrated, forgiven and loved and listened to, acknowledged, brought home to the truth. When that happened, such peace came through. Like, I'm just in peace right now. And it gave me a greater capacity to tap back into that energy with a different perspective and carry out a deeper healing for myself and send that out again to those grid line systems in Houston, in Ireland. I talk about Ireland, what's going on there, and of course all over the world. Everything is connected. Nothing is separate right now. And again, like washing away where the disillusions are being fed and imprinted onto us, the lies, propaganda, and being really boom in our discernment. And it's a process for me anyway. What other of course, here we have, what other message wants to come through? I have a special place in my heart for this lady. Her name is Anna. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, part of the divine plan. We are all part of this divine plan. This is the mother of Our Lady Mary, the grandmother of Jesus. She who lived up into her hundreds, 600, 700, 800, I'm not sure which, who knew the magic of rejuvenation. Who do you think taught Jesus how to rise on the third day? This lady. It's even in the Bible, it mentions how old she is. Of course, the church won't recognize that. She of the mystery schools. Now she came through with my light language level 2 ladies, of course, as well. And we did a transmission last year on that. You can access that on my page, on my YouTube page. I'm going to have to close up because my battery's getting low. We have the Torah there as well. We have Egypt. There's a lot of sacred places here, Sedona, Zuvahaniati Anahada, with the whole Magdalene energy coming in with her as well. So we're going to invite in the collective of the Divine Mother, the Holy Christ Conscious, Suknavakashiti, the Yeshua, Jesus energy, Vud Arar Zavriji Vijivujuna. And of course I'm getting like that's a word we give to the energy, Jesus. But it's the Christed energy. I mean, you have all of the beings of the Christed energy included in that. All the saints, right? And I'm showing like the yogis in India, the saints and the other, all these beautiful beings, the enlightened ones. Many lost to history, many martyred. So we're calling those in. We're getting Ananda, Sananda, Guhandana Itinahiti, Fuya Sara, Lenziavara Hasaye, Viazana Wazavaye, Zuachawale Asizivara, Zuvrachana Nani Ite, Kazavanara Sataiti. And the blue ray coming through there. Is there a message? And a beautiful violet light coming through, a golden violet, radiating, and they're inviting that now just to breathe it in. And this light is of ever-expanding love and protection. And we have that Germain energy coming through with this as well. We have a lot of high angels, archangels. Inviting you to tone if that feels aligned with you. And it helps clear and shift energy and align our own frequencies. Hear the voice of the mothers. Gatuhe Mahiru Mishawatiata Kruktana Sati. Sakatani yatara hala arisive ichinamana etriata. Kianana namasakta ayatina shkut etak arktana masati. Miata ara sataiti, makatari sit uri atvakshanayati. Mosana heteria sakaristusa mazava aksaniasi. Sanguna seti ka atakiata. Sanguna seti ma ashakotanaiti. Sanguna seti makika arakatana. Sanguna seti lashita ma ahikti mina ete ma asaka. There's a cleansing of the blood. They're bringing through and the strand, the DNA. Zoom za ze beraksana bazazi vorexi ebs aquaneati ana druati. They're saying, listen to music that is aligned with the earth frequencies, and it will help reset and re-reference any imprints, any distortions in the field, in the blood field, and the cellular membranes that we get exposed to, the toxins daily and the pollutions, and also radiations and things like that. So you have the elementals. All different ones. Very fast. Ending on the earth. Oh goodness. Zone some junior manak and John Tani or Shafran Madak Shane Atina de Etina in Javana Sizaka Zanava Zotoroikia. Hamza now with the as an interdimensional element, and thank you. So I'm going to ask, what was all that about? No, even again, the balancing within the cellular structures, the DNA. Breathe deeply, and there's going to be a clearing in the fields, and you might get a sense of that. Drink some water, bless the water before you drink it. They give you their blessings. We are around you always. All you need to do is breathe us in. Feel us on your skin through your breath. We're in everything. We are in the cells of you. Habjanyaki, Handanayaki, communicating with us helps affirm your own power within you to heal and balance. Recognize the divine within and bring it forward and bring it out. That is the message, Grandmother of Jesus. Thank you for joining me for this clearing. And the messages that came through from the Divine Goddess. That's what was coming through all the time. Divine Goddess. Divine Goddess. Divine Goddess. Divine, and they're all different card decks. Divine Goddess, and yesterday's one again was a Kali, Divine Goddess. Can't make this up. All different card decks. So I hope you receive what you need. Sending you all lots of love. I cannot wait for you guys. I can see Judy's on here joining me for our level 2 light language. We're going to be exploring and strengthening our channels. Very much so on that course, and of course creating a beautiful community together, right? We're going to be getting a tight-knit circle of ourselves together. Yes, that was it, Eve. It was a DNA activation, the dormant strands coming in, and also a cellular cleanse and a cellular activation with the elementals afterwards to harmonize and clear our fields, to bring us into that higher perspective so we can do that work that we're talking about and feel the empowered aspects of ourselves completely integrated. I love you all. Share this if it's going to help anybody. Some of you may resonate with it, some of you may not. Again, take what's true for you. There is no right and wrong, right? It's where we are in the moment in time. I love you all. Thank you for being there. Thank you for facilitating me yesterday when I did that share, because I had such a big clearing afterwards. Thank you. I love you. Bye.